This is the story of the Dodge Magnum. You know, we all remember the Dodge Magnums that were around in the mid-2000s, but not all remember that this station wagon was only around for 4 years. It was bred from the SRT-8. It was in fact the second generation Magnum model.
The Dodge Magnum.
Snow? In the bayou?
Available with electronic stability program. Performance and versatility for the unexpected.
The first generation Magnum was introduced for 1978 to supplement the Dodge Charger, and the model was even shorter with only a 2-year run. It was sold in two forms, the XE and the GT, and was the last vehicle to use the long-running Chrysler B platform. You know, what's pretty cool is that Brazil and Mexico had their own versions of the Dodge Magnum, each with their own designs compared to that of our versions here in the US and in Canada.
You are looking at a magic means of transportation. New Dodge Magnum XE, a splendid...
Looking back, the Dodge Magnum was actually a complete failure, with only 80,000 units sold in the 2 years of production. It was a muscle car that back in the day had no muscle, and many wondered why it was even manufactured. But yet Chrysler had a good reason for building it in the first place. Let's start with what we all know pretty well, and that is by the mid-70s there wasn't even a wet spot left in the American muscle car segment. Compact pony cars like the Mustang, Camaro, and Firebird continued, but the power in them died out like the dinosaurs. The last true Mopar muscle car was the third generation Dodge Charger. Produced from 1971 through 1974, the mid-size muscle car had an aggressive Coke bottle body style that couldn't be missed, especially at the track. Even in its last year of production, it had a 440 4.72 liter, which, thanks to a 4-barrel carburetor, was still capable of producing 275 horsepower, or about 205 kilowatts.
You'll love the change we made. Announcing the all-new luxurious Dodge Charger, Special Edition 75. You'll love the change we made.
However, in 1975, it was all over. As a matter of fact, the new fourth-generation Dodge Charger was really a redesigned version of the same new luxury Cordoba, which debuted its first generation in 1975. The luxury Chrysler Cordoba had its place in time, especially with that Corinthian leather. Yes, the Cordoba did quite well in its first year, selling 150,000 units, while the Dodge Charger only sold slightly over 30,000 units. By 1978, the Dodge Charger had hit rock bottom, selling only a measly 2,735 units.
Remember when the 426 Hemi made Dodge Charger a legend? Today that legend lives again in Dodge Charger 2.2. Trans Am and Z28 are trying to catch up, but Charger blows them away. With 0 to 50 in 6 seconds.
The Dodge Charger died for a bit, but came back 3 years later in a form of a subcompact front-wheel drive. But in all reality, the reason the Dodge Magnum was ever produced was because of NASCAR racing. You see, the 1971 through 74 Dodge Charger was made popular by NASCAR racers like Bobby Isaac and Buddy Baker. But NASCAR's biggest and brightest star at the time was Richard Petty, who scored 35 victories at the wheel of a third-generation Charger from 71 through 1977. Richard Petty and the Mopar team turned NASCAR into a show throughout the U.S. Just take a look at the 1976 Daytona 500 when Petty in a Dodge cut off David Pearson in a Mercury just before the finish line when both began to hit the wall. Pearson's wrecked car, despite serious damage, was able to reach the finish line under its own power. But Richard Petty's Charger was pushed to the finish line by his team. As a result, Pearson was declared the winner, and Petty was second that year. So let's get to how the Dodge Magnum plays a role in all of this. You see, NASCAR rules say that no models older than 2 years can race on the NASCAR track. Chrysler simply didn't have any race-worthy models, so to allow Chrysler to race using the 1974 Dodge Charger, NASCAR changed the rules and allowed older cars for 1977 only. Enter the Dodge Magnum. Styling features of the new Dodge Magnum included a sloped front end with 4 rectangular headlights behind retractable clear covers. The car had narrow opera windows, massive rear pillars, and was optionally offered with both a Landau-type vinyl roof and an optional T-top or power sunroof. The new design of the Magnum made the car look fast and sporty, and to some extent, brutal. A long, wide body made the car look aggressive and had a host of optional equipment, such as air conditioning, cruise control, and radio with either a choice of 8-track or cassette player. It was even offered with tinted windows and a power driver's side rear view mirror. The front seat of the Magnum XE came with velour upholstery. For an extra fee, it could be also ordered with leather and a heavy-duty sports suspension system with aluminum 15-inch decorative arched wheels with wide 225 side tires. Overall, the Dodge Magnum looked and was equipped with a host of nice features. It was sleek and really had the appearance of a muscle car but offered personal luxury options. According to Chrysler at the time, they thought that this was the best combination for the successor of the Dodge Charger. The Dodge Magnum was offered with 3 V8 choices, the 318, the 360, and the 400 V8. So back to NASCAR racing and the Dodge Magnum. Richard Petty ran the Magnum just before the sale of the Dodge Magnum to the public. The race-prepared Magnum with its drag coefficient of .047, although not as aerodynamic as the 1974 Dodge Charger, could easily accelerate to speeds of 200 miles per hour and appeared to be very promising. However, the Dodge Magnum was unable to win any real races. In fact, Richard Petty's best overall in the Dodge Magnum was second place. The Dodge Magnum's replacement for 1980 was the Dodge Murata, which was almost as short of a run as the Magnum. It was sold from 1980 through 1983. Chrysler did revive the Magnum name in 2004, but this time as a get-up-and-go station wagon, which I really liked at the time. Well, there you have it, the history of the Dodge Magnum and how it became. Did you own a Dodge Magnum or maybe wished you had one? If so, we want to know. Leave us your comments below. Hey, as always, we want to thank our subscribers very much. Hey, you know, if you're not a subscriber, it's absolutely free. We don't bother you. All it takes is one click. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for future notifications. It's simple. Hey, this is Michael J. with the Boca Brothers YouTube channel. We'll see you again next weekend.